Welcome to Keyframers, the animated collaborative coding livestream where we bring imaginative user interfaces to life. I'm your host, Stephen Shaw, but you may know me as @Shashaw.
And I'm David Khourshid, also known as @DavidKPiano.
And we are coming to you live as coding compadres, animation amigos, Boolean buddies, and keyframe companions.
Yeah, so in this episode, we're going to be talking about animation concepts. So we are going to be creating some animations live, but we're also going to be talking about just the concepts that go behind those animations and how you could use these to improve the animations on your site. So going beyond just implementing.
That's right. We'll be basing this off of a guide that was shared recently. That's super awesome. But before we get into that, this show is made possible by your support. You can pledge at patreon.com/keyframers or subscribe here at twitch.tv/keyframers. The links are available below, and we may even give you a little special shout out during the show.
Yeah. And so we want to open up the discussion to everyone. So please ask questions. You know, let's talk about stuff this episode because there's a lot of important things to consider here. So you could reach out to us in the Twitch chat or the YouTube comments. And so I'm actually pretty excited for this one.
As am I. So yeah, let's get right into it. Let's pull this up here. So we're actually basing this off of the ultimate guide to proper use of animation in UX. Quite the mouthful of a title, but it is a lovely article showcasing a lot of good and bad things to do in animation, and really walks through all the important principles: creation, easing, coordination, primarily.
Right, and it's actually an older article. I remember seeing it a while ago, but it's just starting to make the rounds again right now, which is nice. I guess that's what articles do.
Yeah, the information in it I think is timeless, at least timeless for the 2010s, whatever our era is called. For me, that ever happened to you on Medium? The images?
Oh
stop loading?
yes. This is one of the most annoying things. You know, speaking of user experience, it's like even if you've already loaded the page and you know that your photos are in the cache somewhere,
I've got it in
the
there.
Medium is still like, I really feel like you should look at this nice, blurry, abstract rendition of what you really want to see, and you should stare at it for 30 seconds before we actually load your thing.
Yeah.
So thanks, Medium.
It does a lot of great things for typography, but yeah, that loading is quite frustrating.
Oh yeah, and I feel like images loaded faster before that, and so it's also an important concept to talk about is perceived performance. And so, you know, you could create the illusion of perceived performance even if the performance or things are taking a long time to load with animation or with tricks like blurring images. But you'll see that there's better ways to do that.
That's right.
And to make the apps feel a lot snappier for your users.
Yes. Yeah, I really love the direct comparisons that they're doing here in the breakdown of all those of all the different components of the animation. I think it's just so well done. It's definitely a handy reference to have to refer back to for building out animations.
Right, and so you can see here a lot of allusions to material design as well if you've looked at the material design guides on animation. So you're going to see a lot of things actually echoed you know, between material design, their motion guide.
Losing you a bit,
so
David.
A link to those guidelines because it's really
gone. Yes, the Google Material Design Motion guidelines are wonderful to refer to. I'll see if we can get David back here. There he is. Are you with us, David?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think my internet is as bad as
Medium's loading.
lonely wear to Lacoste. I only wear Lacoste on in the chat.
That's right. So linking to the Google Material Design motion reference, because there's a lot of great stuff in there as well, as far as making motion feel realistic. The responses of everything and the way that things layer and appear in, it should all be very natural, and that's one thing their guidelines do really well.
Right.
Especially that just like subtle touch ripple that's kind of in everything now. It's just such a good way of showing the UI responding to user input, and giving that real immediate feedback. Yeah, there's a good example of it.
Yeah, and there's many ways of accomplishing that as well. You don't necessarily need to. A lot of people just copy material design, but there's many ways of doing that.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so shall we get into recreating?
Yeah.
All right. So we talked through a few of these. We're going to try and tackle at least two really quick. One of the ones we wanted to start with was just this staggering example, showcasing the bad entrance versus a good entrance, and we'll start off implementing the bad and then show how to adjust that into good. Man, we've got our bad background already. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I come prepared.
Yes. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Right. So we won't really need JavaScript on this one. Save that for a rainy day. Okay.
Just gonna copy pasta bees.
Yeah. Go.
Let's do like 5.
Yeah.
Oh, these are pretty big, but I'll adjust the stuff.
Yeah. They'll scale. Right. Yeah.
All right, let me just remove some styling. You'll notice that like every single site I go on, the default styling for lists is always removed, and I think it's about due time that, I don't know, we just need a purging of default browser styles.
It would definitely be nice to have some kind of flag or meta tag that would remove styles.
Yeah.
These little font sizes. Come on, David.
I like my rims, so.
Could just be one rim. Oh, here. Rims. Okay, I get it.
Oh. Yeah, I got a little lazy. All right, so we're going to let's see. This is just some really simple styling. So for radius 1 rem, just to get things nice and looking sort of like the thing, just so that we could start talking about the actual durations, delays, all that sort of stuff. All right, so here we go. Nice. And so we could just
one thing you might want to add here is margin 0. I scroll.
Yeah, that works. And all right, yeah. So how are we going to do the staggering? You know what? Right now it's red, and you know what red means? Even though it's my favorite color, red means bad.
That's right.
So I want to do some bad staggering right now.
So you're gonna do an nth child loop.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go ahead and do that. So, I'll just go ahead and do that right over here. So you could say for I from 1 through 5, and I know we're hard coding this. We could obviously use JavaScript to help us, but uh, for the purposes here, I just want to go over like how you would do staggering in Sass because the same sort of principles would apply if you're using less, stylus, or JavaScript and applying it with CSS variables, which is a very viable option that you should consider. And so I could say here, why are these so big? Oh, because
Uh,
you did use this.
oh, you were
Oh,
typing as I was doing things.
oh my God.
That's all.
Okay, so for each one of these, we're going to have an animation. So I'm going to do keyframes enter. And so we could see it starts off opacity 0, and it also starts off transform scale, let's say 0.5. And then to opacity 1, transform none. And so this enter animation, so we're going to give each one of these an animation of enter. And let's say for the sake of this, each of these is 0.3 seconds. That's the default I'd like to use, 300 milliseconds. So believe it or not, that's actually good. So, but we're going to see how we could turn a good animation timing into a bad one. And Shaw has already started by using linear as an easing, which is bad. There are instances where linear is good, though.
What if we used ease in instead of?
Easing out. Okay, well, animation delay. We're using Sass here, and so we're going to say I times, and me as a naive animator, not saying that you all are naive, I mean, we're learning here, but I'm going to say, oh, I want them all to enter one after the other. So I'm going to do the same duration over here. And so you can see that they all enter one at a time. And so now going to this article, it talks about like the average there's many research studies on what the optimal speed for interface animation is, and it says between 200 and 500 milliseconds. So I followed that first part by making these 300 milliseconds, which is at 0.3. However, when we add the stagger, the total goes to what? 300 times 5 is
A
over a
lot.
second. And the thing is, even if you want to click the first item, because things are animating in, consider that it's like you're blocking the main thread, except the main thread's the user. Okay, so every time you show an animation, you're blocking the user from doing something because your animation is telling the user, hold on, something's happening, wait for this thing to finish happening. And so in this case, it's having all of these stagger in, which is no bueno. So
Right.
okay, so actually, before we go further, I want to take a fun opportunity to use CSS variables. So I'm gonna have just a color here, just so that we could easily switch from bad to good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so got that over there, and there's all right. So we could just do their color.
Is that the right color?
It's if it's the wrong color, then it's still a bad color, which is good because that's what we want. We want bad colors.
What's broken?
Oh, it's because RGBA doesn't necessarily. All right, so faded color, we could do RGBA, whatever that color is, and 0.5. So that's just a little hack.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Okay, so that is the wrong color, but
Right here. I think I've got it saved. Oh, yep, there it is.
Okay. And then we could do. All right. 0.5. Okay. Back to the topic at hand. We have this this terrible staggering going on.
Thanks for following.
We want to fix it. So how could we fix this?
State machines.
No, absolutely not.
First time David has ever uttered those words.
I know. But we could. Actually, this is a really simple one. What we could do is we could limit the stagger. Well, what I call the stagger interval. So this interval, this 0.3 seconds, gets applied on each stagger. Now, what you want to do is we have to do a little bit of math because we want to think about what is the total time in total we want to show this animation. So in our case, I'd want to say maybe, let's say we're keeping our animation at 300 milliseconds, right? And we want to show it for a total of 500 milliseconds, like that's it. So that means we have 200 milliseconds to play with. And so we have 5 images here, 200 milliseconds divided by 5, because that's what we have to play with, is 10 milliseconds. No, is my math right? 200 divided by 5.
200 divided by 5, that'd be,
milliseconds.
yeah, 40.
Right. So now, oh wow, so that's pretty fast. And so this is where you could actually tweak it. And so now, because they're overlapping, the user has the idea of like, you see the items and then the other ones are coming in as the other ones are coming in. So their focus is already done. They know that, okay, there's a bunch of items coming in. Whereas the other stagger that we had, it was like, hey, this is coming in. Oh, wait, this one's coming in too. And so there's a pretty big visual difference between that.
Here, I've got it. State. Good. Let's get beautiful blue, baby blue. Toggle this over.
Yeah, but we need to do the background as well.
Oh.
So there.
Yeah, that specifically.
What is in the background? You change it to white?
No, it's because the color here isn't doing anything. Doesn't that need to be like...
Oh, yes, you're right. Well, this one actually needs to be on the entire thing. I mean, that'll still work, but...
well, yeah, so I was trying to do the toggle there. Why don't you keep going? I'll adjust this.
Oh yeah, because that has to be on the actual.
Yeah, I'll do a background, a pseudo element background.
All right. So okay, so our stagger looks a little bit better, but there's a difference that I want to make from the actual animation that we see in the so-called good animation. And it's that, I know it's a GIF, but it feels a little bit stiff. And so we could also play with the easing. And so this is something I talked about before. When you're doing an easing, you want to either start at 0 or end at 0 or both. And what I mean by that is this easing curve, having that be, what are you doing? Anyway, having that easing curve, right, now we have everything. Oh, we're having some fun with this. All right, so while Shaw is doing that, I'm going to play with the easing curve. And so I'm going to do that at the very top. Easing, and I'm going to use my favorite one, cubic as CA 0.501. And those zeros are important. Or actually, 0.50. Just to see how that looks. In fact, we could even go 0.50, 0.21. We're getting pretty artsy here.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
You just really like the color blue. Oh, wow. Now, there's lots of things happening. So now, funny enough, when you're changing the easing, it's important to look at the just revisit the animation delay as well, because now it could feel different. So I feel like we could actually turn that down, and yeah, that still actually looks pretty nice when I bring it down to like 60 milliseconds for the stagger effect.
Thanks for.
So yeah.
Okay.
He was banned.
There was a malicious tweet or a malicious post in the chat there. Don't go to that link if you saw that.
Okay.
It's not anything to worry about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the first time that's happened to my recollection.
Yeah, more popularity, no problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it happens.
Okay.
Right. Here, I'm gonna get this box shot back in there. Or actually,
yeah, that goes on the UL.
I literally have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I'll explain. So yeah, just moved everything down to the UL there, but I don't know why. Oh, that's the problem.
Perfect.
Part of it.
All right, there we go.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yeah. Sorry. Just getting some cleanup going.
Okay. Well, anyway, we can probably go on to the next one after that whole thing.
Okay. So yes, you can toggle between those with data state good and data state bad. I'll go back and add some tweaks there to get that a little bit more.
Yeah. So feel free to reach out in the chat. How does that feel to you? I'm still tweaking the numbers a little bit, and this is something that is important. Where when you create the animation, you're not done yet. There's still tweaking to do. You can still play around with the values, and yeah, it's an important thing.
That's right.
So yeah, let's move on to the next one.
All right. Get a new pin going here.
All right.
copy over
Yeah.
what
Copy
all
and
we
paste
had,
the,
because we're gonna build off of that. So the next one we wanted to do, let's see, where is that one? It's at the top, right? Okay, yes. So the one talking about duration and speed of the animation, and showcasing this really cool zoom or click in effect. Showcasing how the speed of the animation can affect that. So let's get in here. This one. Right. Are you in here with me?
Okay.
Flip over to collab mode, David.
Oh, am I not?
No, sorry. The link I sent was not collabed.
Well, I don't think I could flip over to it, so you can make this on that one again.
It's just that link. Please collab.
You know I can't type.
Well, neither can I.
All right, so for this one, I know I'm going to want to use flipping, so just to save us a little bit of boilerplate right there for how to do those flip style animations, which you're going to see a lot in like material design style animations, as well as various iOS or pretty much any animation you see is going to have that flipping or well, when I refer to flipping, I mean like having a shared elements transition where something on one view smoothly transitions to another view, even if it's not the exact same elements. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at that animation. And this one is actually significantly more complex than the other one. So challenge accepted.
A little bit. So just doing some setup here. I'm gonna get the that little side looking image going.
And you could literally just float left that.
Yeah.
And which, yeah, nostalgic, right? So for each of the LIs and before content, actually, I don't want to float left. We're going to use CSS Grid because we are mature adults. I'm kidding. Yeah, float is still useful in certain use cases. Grid template columns. Yeah, we're gonna have.
There it is.
I don't know. It looks like one of our three or.
Hello, yeah. Denmark. What time is it over there?
What time is it over here?
In Denmark.
Oh, that's 6 hours ahead from here. So I think it's like 3, 4 in the morning. Wow.
That's dedication right there.
That's definitely dedication.
Let's start. That's awesome. The bad.
Rows. We're going to have and so the title is going to be column. It's going to be 2, 3, grid row 1, 2, and the paragraph is going to be grid column 2, 3 as well. Grid row 2, 3. And then we're going to position our before grid column 1, 2, and grid row 1, -1. And -1 just means it goes the entire thing. So, or it goes to the last whatever it's called, the grid line. So
where are you working, David? I'm not
I'm
seeing.
working on line 77, and hopefully you can see my stuff.
I cannot copy what you have. Let's refresh.
Oh no, are you gonna make it?
Let's see, hopefully I'm the one. I'm not seeing anything. Did at least copy. Oh, dang it! I'm working in the. Never mind. All right. Let's see.
That's okay, it happens.
77. Okay. Well, that's.
Well, that looks about right. All right.
Yeah, I implemented that completely differently on the other.
Yeah, perfect. Well, this is what grid column gap is good for. We could do like a contact frame.
Let's see.
Actually, we could do like a one line sort of thing. And actually, let's do.
Do you still have everything selected? Because certainly.
You want me to select everything?
No, it looks like you have everything selected.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't.
Hey, thanks for following.
Right.
Okay. I'm gonna refresh here. Seeing the same. Yeah, it still looks like you've got everything selected.
Yeah, definitely do a refresh.
I can see you working in the HTML, but CSS, it seems like you're.
Or you're my boss. Micromanaging here.
I'm just trying to present.
I see you. See your HTML work.
Now, is a pseudo element actually going to work for that?
Yeah, well, it
For
does.
flipping?
Oh, no. All right,
Uh,
so we're gonna add avatar to each one of these then.
yeah, I'll start
Good
changing that
call.
down here.
Yeah, so each one of these is just going to be avatar. Set the tab. Each one of these. All right, and yeah, you have the color right. So,
Yes.
so that's good. So we're going to have two views though, and that's why this UL is actually a bad idea. I'm gonna have a device or something, and then we're gonna move this whole width height thing to the device, just because now app means I guess the entire screen.
Oh, yes.
That's okay. There's a reason that happened. And then we're going to use our layering technique too. So,
do you remember how to do it?
We'll just make a mix in layer. And so if you remember, a layer is position absolute, then top 0, left 0, and then either with 100% or hide 100%, or whatever. We'll do right 0. I'll try your way, bottom 0, and just have that all on the top. And then so we could say this UL is going to do that layer mix in. So that's going to be, whew, that works. Oh, I was worried there. Or yeah, we could have that like layer. What's with that grid area?
So let me show you this.
Did you learn a grid trick that I don't know?
Let's see. Oh, I think.
I mean, that looks pretty sleek. I mean, we could still have class layer, so we could just do that layer.
Oh yes, that's probably. Okay. Let's see. Hello world. This is Z2. There we go. Ah, yes. Okay, so this is my this has been my go-to layering technique lately. On your container, set display grid. Give it a grid template of just one row, one column, and then each layer, or direct children, you could set it on with star grid area 1 if you wanted to. And that just stacks all of the layers on top of each other instead of arranging them in a grid. Normally, it's technically still doing that. It's just stacking them on top of each other. So and the benefit of that is it sizes the box to the max width and max height of the largest children. So you don't have to actually size the container in this way. You could actually take that off, and then this will be the size of whatever's in there. For our article, we could set a max width. Yeah, that's a very handy little technique to pull out whenever you need to just stack things on top of each other.
Wait, it's escaped the layout now.
Well, that's just because of the overflow scroll up there.
Well, how could we restrict it then? Because we want to. I'm saying it's a bit wide right now.
Come on. It should be. It should be the right size. How can we fix
that using your technique?
There you go.
It's still a bit wide.
Out of sync again. Refresh.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah,
I wasn't doing those updates.
Yeah.
Weird. Oh, shoot.
Yeah, and so what we can do is background parent here, so that our hello world layer is just getting that same background. There you go. See that it's still layering. We'll just hide it for now. Actually, hide it with visibility hidden. One of my favorite tricks.
Cool. Yeah. All right. That avatar though. That avatar needs to be a square.
For the article.
I guess it doesn't have to be. Well, I'd like it to
be. You're doing it. Oh, I see. So in that case, what I do?
Yeah. Let's give this an actual.
No. Check this out. So what we'll do here. Hide overlay here. So our avatar, we've got width 100%, or should probably 25%, and then using the beauty of pseudo elements, display block, and padding top 100%. Here, start with. There we go. Squares.
Okay, it's almost a square.
It should be exactly a square. Let's get out our.
It has a little bit of.
It's within the margin of square.
All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That works. All right. So we want a lot of this avatar stuff to actually be outside the avatar, and that's because, well, first of all, we don't need this anymore. All right. So because we want a common definition for this avatar, and that's so that we could share the styles with the avatar that ends up on the hero page.
Right.
Or sorry, not the hero page, but the actual article page. And so, yeah, let's add like an actual data state, or sorry, we'll just make a data page. Page equals this, or sorry, data view. I know I usually use data states, but we already have a data state up there. So data view equals list. And so const views equals, sorry, was the initial is list, and yeah. So I'm just making a nice, quick, stupid, simple state machine for on. So article. We go to the. So we're going to have two views: the article view and the list view. That makes sense. And then article on exit. And so I don't see an exit thing, but we could make an exit thing. We are talented enough web developers to make a little X that you click.
Or you just click it again and it goes away.
Yeah,
that's
we can do something like that.
Go to.
Okay, so I'm going to make it so that when you click on, I'm going to have like a ID of article 2. So that's L. And so it's going to be the second one, just letting you know, equals document.query selector article 2. L article dot element. We're going to send the article events. So we just need to make that function now. Function send event. And so our current state, equals the initial state. So right now it is list. And so that's what's going to happen. I'm going to have data view list, and then, oh yeah, you're adding the data layer stuff for that. So that's awesome. Oh yeah, so I guess we should have, just like we've done in previous times, we should reference the actual device. So const L device equals document.query selector the device. And that way we could use, what is it, device.dataList?
Data set dot the name.
Device.dataset
dot view.
Awesome. Cool. All right, so our current state is that view, and then constant state equals dot states state on events. And we're also going to actually set the let's see, I'll device dot data set. You said data set. I keep getting it mixed up. I keep thinking
it's a weird one, and it doesn't seem to be used a whole lot, but it's supported back through, I think, IE11.
All right, so now if you click on the second article, you're going to see it go back, which is pretty cool. Or sorry, you're going to see it go to the actual article view.
Yes.
The article view has a really big avatar.
It does, but we can easily change that.
But that's okay. Well, you know what? We'll see what happens. All right. So, oh, I had to do my flipping thing. So you'll notice in the HTML that I added 2 data flip keys for that avatar. And I just called it avatar 2. And that's just to identify the actual avatar. So we could have that avatar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So const flipping equals new flipping. And then we could do flipping.read over here. And then we change the view. So we flipping.flip. And then let's see what happens. Oh, cool. So it goes back.
Okay.
And then we need El Bacco.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm going to put on the avatar. So you click the avatar. Equals back, and you can of course change that. You know, if you want to add that X or something. And exit. I don't know why I called it X. I should call it back. Back. Okay, so now, if you click the avatar, well, you go right back. So.
Yes.
And funny enough, it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm not positive why it's not toggling back. Are you reading the right? Because it's avatar 2 is the data flip key. In the article key.
All right, time for some JavaScripting. Let's see. See what's up here. Oh, are you doing the visibility thing instead of just like straight up
display none, yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
I just need to know.
Well, we can do display none, I suppose.
Well, for the sake of actually doing this animation, we would want to, you know, have it actually have everything fade out nice and smooth.
Right.
So, all right, yeah, I will figure that out.
Let me open this in GIF Scrubber so it can start breaking it down a little bit. Slow it down. My goodness, that is large image. What are you doing, JavaScript?
Wait, what?
What are you doing on the JavaScript?
Oh, so on the JavaScript, in order to fix the issue that we're having, Lipping has this option called active selector. So you could tell it like, what do we define as the currently active parents, or sorry, the currently active view? Because at any given time, both data flip keys exist in the view. And so the way that flipping knows that it's not there is if it's displayed none, which of course we're not going to do because we need to have everything smoothly animate. But that's okay because we could just add active selector. And so we could say L, and then so we could get the we could return if L matches, then we could say data view equals, and then current state. Basically, I'm saying if it's in the current state. So hopefully that makes sense. So to define if the element is active, we we have to ask, is it in the current state? So now nothing works, which is
that should be data layer, I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm trying to do some console logging here. All right, we're getting some trues, some false. All right, so data layer equals current state. Okay, so we have data layer equals list and data layer equals article. Okay. We should work. I'll figure this out.
Yeah, I'm just starting to work on the actual animation portion.
Okay, let's see how it matches.
That's what it is. Oops, assistant.
Oh. Okay, I got it now. There we go.
Hey.
And actually, I know my mistake. I was reading from current state, which was not being set yet, but I have to have that data set view so that we're reading from the actual data attribute. Cool. So now it goes back and forth. It's pretty nice. Okay, and you made it animate the title too, just for fun.
Yep.
How easy was that?
That is the beauty of flipping. You don't even have to think about that. That's just a freebie.
I do want to come with a new version soon that's more flexible, but it's just finding the time to do it. And so just going back to our original animation, we could also animate that background. And so the point of this is sort of twofold. Number one, both the good and bad example use that flipping in order to maintain what I call visual cohesiveness, where the views seem to blend one into the other instead of it being two completely separate views. And you're going to see that a lot in native app animations, but not so much the web because we web developers are lazy sometimes. We tend to not do that often. So I'm going to go ahead and add background.
Yeah, one quick thing I did to help with the consistency here is
add an error in the CSS because I see a nice big red.
I didn't do that. Added content as a class.
So yeah, this PG. Have you noticed that we got rid of the UI prefix? I don't know why it worries me though.
There we go. All right. There we go. So then
all right, so now we can add this background layer. So instead of having a background layer on the actual LIs, or did you put it on the...
So I added a class equals content.
Okay.
Yeah.
So dot content, and that's where the background color is. So instead we could do G, and that's going to give it to the, it's going to throw it over to that background element. Now, of course, that background element, wherever you put it,
Yeah, I just moved
needs
it.
to, yeah, it needs to inherit the border radius as well. Otherwise, it looks weird. Yeah, there we go. So now we have that border radius. Okay, so now that we have those backgrounds, and I'm going to test it just by adding that data with key equals bg2, and to both that and the one over here, data with key equals bg2. So now I think if we click back and forth, okay, yeah, so we get that background animation. We need to do some margarine treatments to this.
Yeah, I'm starting to work on the article animation.
Yeah, so I think right now you have the avatar transforming into that top blue header. And so, yeah.
Right.
We'll probably want somewhere different.
So.
All right, I'm going to add an X. I think we need that X. The escape. Hey, here's a bit of fun trivia. If I wanted to use an element with button-like functionality, but I also want to style it, what should I use?
Button.
What's the best elements for it?
Button.
The button. Believe it or not. A lot of people like using divs or anchor tags for buttons, but it's never a good idea. All right, I'm trying to find a good Unicode X, and it's surprisingly difficult. Found it. Okay. So I'm adding an exit button. Yeah. Yeah, that was the best X I could find. And I liked it.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing about buttons is the amount of reset styling that they need overall. Font and good stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, at least it works.
All right. Start on next. Thing.
Okay, so you're working on animating the entire thing. I'm going to work on each of those list items. You know how they move out of the way?
Yes. That's what I'm working on
Oh, okay.
here.
Never mind.
Line 185, transform. Oh, because article is coming instantly. It's that background.
Yeah, I'm thinking in the future for flipping, I would definitely want to take more of a CSS variable approach because right now, in order to tweak the duration and stuff, you have to do that in the actual JavaScript, which is a little bit less than ideal.
Are list items transitioning?
What's up?
Are the list items transitioning?
I don't see, well, so I think we have that, we have the, let's see, the white background in the article. That might be just covering it.
Well, over.
Whoa.
Oh. Oh, is the BG shouldn't be covering.
The BGs don't cover anything. If anything, people cover the BGs. I don't know if that joke went over your head.
Yes.
Sorry, you gotta make the puns. It's what we're paid to do, except we're not paid.
It's the visibility.
Aha.
Hmm.
Okay, cool. So now we see everything in view.
Yeah, but now we can't click anything. Let's do.
So pointer events, right?
Yeah.
Or is it a z-index sort of thing?
Yeah, z-index or something.
Yeah, probably z-index would work just fine for each of those. So like for data view, we just said each of those two.
Yeah, it's not going to work for the transition. So what we need to do is actually do the
Oh, you're right.
yeah,
Right. So pointer events then?
Well, kind of. Here, position, opacity, seconds, linear, B, seconds, 4 seconds.
Okay.
Explain this. Just a moment.
All right, so I guess what's going to happen here is that this is going to flip at 50%, right?
Yes.
Or, well, no, it's going to, yeah. So, all right. And so right now the list times just fade away. Pretty nice. Okay, so we have something going on here.
Yes. Okay, so my delays are backwards. This should be transition delay. Seconds. Yeah, there you go.
Awesome. Right. I'll definitely need an explanation of that
so,
later.
Yeah, I've done that trick a few times before. I'll explain it. If you want to work on something, I'll talk through it briefly.
Yeah, I'm gonna add a transition to that li just so that they actually move.
Yeah, it should be set right there, 189 or so.
They're just going up. And
Yeah,
then,
I'm not sure why they aren't
all right, yeah, I'll take a look
transition.
at that
Yeah,
while
play with that.
you
All right, so this is a little known fact. Visibility is animatable, but it is a, what's it called, David? When it's just a toggle based
it's a
animation?
they call it a flip at
Discrete.
50%.
Discrete
Or yeah,
animation.
yeah,
Yeah. So what that means is it doesn't transition smoothly from 0 to 1, or like opacity might. Visibility will just toggle when it kind of reaches that point. So what we have here is our opacity transition, just going over 0.4 seconds in a linear way. And then visibility is actually a 0-second animation because we just want it to trip right away. But we have an animation delay here on the hidden state, which we overwrite on the visible state here as transition delay 0 seconds, 0 seconds. So what that does is when you're toggling the state, it instantly becomes visible, but it's opacity 0, so it's still not technically shown, but that animation is able to be seen. And then when it's being hidden, it's the animation delay on visibility keeps it visibility visible until the end of that animation delay, so that you get the opportunity for that fade out occur. That answer?
I figured it out. So, and wow, this merits like an in-depth tutorial just because it's a little weird.
Yeah.
And I had an intuition about what the bug could be, but it's not really straightforward.
There we
So,
go. I got it.
no, I already fixed it. But what happened was the animation fill mode. All right. You know how we have all those list items staggering in?
Oh, yes.
So basically, animation is still holding on to that, and it's saying, I control your transform right now. And because of that, when transition says, hey, I want to, do a little transforming on the list items, the animation, which is fill mode both, is saying, nope, sorry, I'm still controlling, where it's animating. So.
So yes.
So I used backwards, and so what backwards is going to do is it's going to fill when it comes in, but not when it goes out. Or sorry, not when the animation ends. I can't words tonight. But.
Yeah, initially, the initial status of it will be the backward state, so what it's coming from, which in this case is opacity 0, scale 0.7. Which right now, when it toggles back, because we're not using display none, it actually is using that transform animation back in place.
Mm-hmm. Now, funny enough, with flipping, just to add a little bit of choreography to this, and just like in the one we did before, this one we're sort of adding our own twist to it anyway. But I could add a delay of, let's say, like 200 for 200 milliseconds. And so that way we could see like, or actually that looks a little weird. That could be like a bad animation practice, but oh, okay. It looks weird because we are animating that article
box.
one at the same time.
Right.
As the one we clicked, so we just have to make sure that that one is not animated.
Yeah, so article 2, transform, and this could be done. Yeah, sure. Transform noun, transform non, transform.
Yeah, it still looks a little weird. Oh, that's because we have like it's showing on. Here's a reason it looks weird. I just can't put my finger on it.
What if we make that a more extreme delay?
Make it what?
I just made it a very significant delay. Is it because the background and everything is fading over
Oh,
it?
you know what? Maybe there's still the background present on the actual article itself. So
I should have removed
let me
that.
see if that's the case. Uh, article
I've got that
or
removed.
or the article's content, that is. Let's make sure that's not the case over here. Contents. Oh yeah, so the no, there's no background.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, well, anyway.
No delay.
Honestly, it still looks nice without the delay, so
Yeah.
you know, that's fine.
Awesome.
All right, so let's look at the bad of this. And so for the bad of it, we have that the article content. Once it loads in, and I guess we could do that when like data view is article. We could just do it like
I mean, it's really
here.
just
Well,
the duration of it.
well, not only the duration, but just it's sort of the same fallacy that happens um, with our first animation as well. And so we could see here that let's do for actually let me see the HTML structure that I'm just trying to think of a really lazy way to target the title. So just kidding. I can just do the title. The title. And then do we still have our enter animation? Yeah, we do. I'm just going to reuse that and be lazy. Enter 0.3 seconds, but we're also going to wait 0.3 seconds and ease in, I guess. When we click, oh, that did not. Oh, because no, I need to actually target the article, not the pound article too. Let's see, layer article. All right, so yeah, this article. Oops. Okay. And
I think
oh,
flipping might be overriding.
okay. So there we go.
Yeah.
And so you can see like that enters in after the animation is done, and then so yeah. So then let's do something else bad. And then animation delay. We're gonna make it even longer than 5 seconds. But at least we have some stagger. But all right, so this, I mean, it might look silly, but I see this a lot in some websites where something will enter, and then once it's done entering, you have things coming in like right after each other. Um, and it's like you just want the entire article right away. But you also don't want to do the opposite. And I'm going to show you the opposite right now, which is having absolutely no chill, or sorry, no delay, and just everything coming in at once, right? So you have just this uh, mess of animation all happening at the same time. So you want some delay, but you don't want a I guess you could call this stats delay. Can we call it that?
Sure.
Where you wait for everything, or sorry, a sequenced delay, where you wait for everything to happen one at a time. So yeah, you don't want everything to happen like just all at the same time because things are moving in different directions and it could become just really jarring. So instead, we're going to, in fact, we could do a calc, use some CSS variables, duration, Yeah, it's just divided by 2. Right? And then so you just get that sort of, oh, well, actually, that's still.
Yeah, I was gonna set a delay variable as well, and then those can be toggled with data state
Or
bad
yeah,
and data state good.
that might be a good idea. Yeah. So for now, we could have just 100 milliseconds, just like we had before for this staggering in. But even that feels like too much. See, we want it shortly after, but not too shortly after. And actually, that's our easing. So that's another thing too, using the same easing for everything, or at least similar easings. All right, so you have their delay. So I'm going to do calc their delay times what, 1.5? Did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just comes in. Alternatively, and I know we're just like experimenting here, but if we experimented with this duration taking a little bit longer, then we could divide this delay just in 2. And then let's see what that gives us. Actually, that looks pretty nice. See that?
Does.
And so what that is instead of waiting for, for a long time, or not a long time, but just like for the entire delay, you started earlier, but you make the duration a little bit longer. And so that's going to give you like a nice smoother animation. So you see here where everything is entering one at a time, really slow. Yeah. And then now we have them entering nice and smooth.
Yes.
So
And one thing we can do, what is it in flipping? The you can set the duration in that way, right?
uh sorry, let me take a look at what you did. Yeah, you can set duration like that.
Let me. Read a CSS variable, a computed style.
So with CSS variable, it might be difficult. I don't think you could read them straight from the style sheet. I remember experimenting with that and that not exactly working. So you might have some trouble.
Keep it. Let me try something. Going.
I'm just clicking back and forth here like I do.
Yeah, one of the keys to animation is just really spending some time to get the feel right. Let's see. Just function. Copy.
So I'm going to do something.
Is that how you set the duration in flipping? Line
Let me see.
29.
Where are you right now?
Line 29.
29. Duration, yeah, this should be a number.
Okay.
If that's a number, then that will work.
Well, I don't think it is.
Yeah. If any of you are actually using flipping, and you have any suggestions for like, I would like to see this feature, or I wish it were easier to do this, then please let me know, because we have embarked on just like a casual adventure of creating CSS variable powered animation tools. And so we've seen a few of those like Shaw's splitting or Notorious B1T's scroll outs.
Haha. Oh,
So did that not work?
not really.
Oh my god, that's slow. That's so painfully slow.
There we go.
Oh, I can't believe we're actually trying to make bad animations on purpose. But it's fun. All right, so I put the just to give it more of an effect. Now you have to click the third one, not the second one. Do you see that?
Let's see.
All right, how do I go back to good? Because this bad thing is
The data stayed at the top.
it's
So.
harshing my mellow, man. Okay. Beautiful. Probably overflow hitting something.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Life's too short for overflow hitting.
Well, see that's one of the things I was recommending about that display grid layering technique, because you can really set it to be sized based on that largest child. We would just in that case we would set the article to be position absolute over it, or max width, max height kind of idea.
Yeah, so I don't think that duration thing is working.
It is. If you toggle over to bad, it should be. Oh, that's because I did. There we go. Let me change my units there. Yeah.
Now it's working. Beautiful.
Yeah, my units were.
Yeah, so Venting asked where we found our inspiration for this one, and it is that article that we linked to in the chat. So usually we do dribble animation recreations or something similar, like we did the Apple Watch site, we did the soccer sites a while ago. But this one, it's just a great opportunity to talk about the concepts behind why you would do certain animations. So yeah, thanks for highlighting the one that you should click, because I was confusing myself.
Yes. Cool.
Cool.
All right. Shall we?
Yeah.
Right. Well, we are now moving into the part of the show known as Keyflections, a quick review of the techniques we use to build this animation. If you have any questions, now is a great time to ask in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer as we go along.
Yeah. And so if you've enjoyed watching this so far, you could follow and subscribe here on Twitch or YouTube, or pledge at patreon.com/keyframers. And the links are available below, especially if you're new. And I feel like we do have some new people here today. So thank you so much for watching us code late at night or early in the morning if you're in Europe, or at a very normal hour if you're in Australia.
Yes. All right. So this week we were diving into this wonderful article by Terrace. Not sure how to pronounce the last name there. The Ultimate Guide to Proper Use of Animation in UX. And it's just chock full of great animation advice, showcasing different examples of how all the basic components of animation come together to create good experiences and bad experiences. The compare and contrast is really good here, so I definitely recommend reading through. The link has been in the chat. Let's come in there again if you need it. Dive in and explore that. So we took some time with a couple of the examples. The first one here, showcasing staggering, good versus bad. And you can see in the illustration there, the bad just is painfully slow. So going back to that code example, if we look at it here, oh yeah, we didn't actually save the bad and good there, but I'll adjust that in the end. So the bad example would be, yeah, look at that slow animation delay. That just feels infuriating. Like you want to you want it to finish already.
You know what it feels like? Have you ever been in a meeting, and so you get through everything in the meeting, and it's like, okay, our half-hour meeting's over, and then they say, does anyone have anything else? And then you're like, please, no one say anything, no one say anything. And then someone chimes in, and they're like, wait, I have something. That's what these animations feel like.
Yes.
It's like the perpetual meetings that never end. Not speaking from personal experience, though.
So I'm adjusting these really quick to use some vars so we can toggle back and forth here.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So the bad one versus the good. Man, that's just such a night and day difference here.
Yeah. I feel like we could even, I'm going to experiment with this, but using like a checkbox to mark like a CSS variable for 0 and 1, and never mind, that's getting too crazy. But
yes,
we could definitely toggle back and forth.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, that was one of the first principles in the article, and it's just such an important principle to understand when you're doing these kinds of animations. You don't want to make the user wait. You want them to feel engaged with the experience, and if they're having to wait for it to come in, they're not gonna enjoy that. Next, we moved on to the duration and speed example. So, whoa.
Sorry.
So let's toggle that over to bad real quick. So slow. So same idea there. And then click into the animation. I mean, that's impressive, but come on, I don't have all day. I'm just trying to get to some content.
Yeah, trying to get to what you want. Now, I just realized where, in a sneaky way, where slow animations could actually be a benefit. It's if your data actually does load really slowly, then you're like,
yeah, sure.
you're stalling for time,
Yes. So yeah, this just isn't really good for anybody. So if we toggle this back over to good, that feels nice. It feels snappy. Is that still the buzzword?
Like, yeah, snappy. That's it.
And then you're not making anyone wait. You're rewarding them for interacting with it. They don't feel punished by having to wait for some animation to finish and just get to what they need.
Yeah, and so one other tiny little trick, if you were paying attention here, that actually makes it feel extra nice is you'll notice that when we go to the actual article view and we see the article contents come in, the duration of that is actually longer than the normal duration of the rest of the animating parts. And that's because the intention is for it to come in later. And so we could do that one of two ways. We could either give it a delay and then have it animate at the normal duration, or we could give it a slightly longer duration and a slightly smaller delay. And that way, it still feels like it comes in later, but it gets a little bit of a head start. And so the result is a smoother animation. So,
that's right.
Yeah. Well, awesome.
Yeah. And there's lots of other little tidbits in there. Most of the stuff we've covered before. Layering with display grid.
The visibility stuff.
The visibility stuff. Well,
I always need re-explaining.
Yeah.
Because that's a property I don't use that often.
Yeah. There's some content coming from us in the near future here where we'll break down some of these topics into a little bite-sized chunk for you all.
You can say that I'm blind to visibility. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. On that note, should we bring this to a close?
Let's bring it to a nice, smooth, but brisk close, just like the rest of our animations.
So you wanna transition?
Yeah. Yeah. Without further delay.
You've been watching Keyframers, the animated collaborative coding livestream where we bring imaginative user interfaces to life. If you've enjoyed this episode and would like to support us and see more from David and I, you can pledge at patreon.com/keyframers, and you can also check out https://keyframe.rs, and that contains the link to all of our various social medias, Twitter, YouTube, etc. You'll be able to find the link to this video and other stuff there.
Yeah, and we do accept submissions for future episodes. I don't remember if this one was a submission or not, but it was just something that was making the rounds on Twitter, so we decided to play around with it.
Always topical.
Tweet at Keyframers with any animations you'd like to see made. It's happened a few times, and we would love to see it happen more often. You can also present questions or challenges to us, and we will try to answer them or do those challenges on the air. Obviously, don't propose a crazy challenge as we're doing an animation, because that's mean, and we'll probably do it.
Probably.
It'll just be a disaster.
And we've had some really good activity in the YouTube comments, people chiming in and asking questions, so feel free if you have any questions, or if you have some follow-ups to this animation showing us the way that you recreated it. We'd love to see those, so
yeah,
comment below. And also be sure to share this video and demo across all your social media platforms. That's
show it to your mom.
Yeah.
Show it to your parents.
They appreciate it.
Dog.
They do.
Yeah.
That's all we've got for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, adios, amigos.
Adios.